You may be wasting the most powerful 5 minutes of your Ramadan. Imagine this. You are 5 minutes away from breaking your fast. The table is ready, the food is in front of you, your body is tired, your throat is dry, and all you can think about is that first sip of water. Now let me ask you something. What if these 5 minutes were more powerful than the entire day you just completed? What if the most important moment of your fast is not the hunger, not the long afternoon struggle, not even the iftar itself, but the quiet space right before it? Most people move through these final minutes almost unconsciously. They check their phones, adjust the plates, talk casually, wait for the adhan, and then they eat. It feels routine, predictable, ordinary. But spiritually, this moment carries a weight that is often unnoticed. You have just spent an entire day saying no to your desires, no to food, no to drink, no to impulses. You restrained yourself when you were irritated, held your tongue when you could have spoken harshly, and pushed through weakness and fatigue. All of that has placed your heart in a state of obedience and sincerity that does not come easily. Right before you break your fast, something subtle happens inside you. You feel your need more clearly. You feel your limits. You feel your dependence in a way that is harder to ignore. And that vulnerability is not a weakness, it is an opening. This is not about magic words or superstition, it is about awareness. These 5 minutes can become a turning point in your Ramadan if you approach them intentionally. What you ask for in those moments matters. What you turn to Allah with matters. What settles in your heart during that pause can quietly reshape the direction of your month and sometimes even your life. But only if you slow down enough to notice it. Tonight, instead of rushing toward relief, try something different. Stay present in those final minutes and let me show you how to transform them from something routine into something extraordinary. Before we talk about what to say, you need to understand why these last minutes matter. Fasting is not just physical restraint, it is spiritual conditioning. All day long you have been training your nafs to submit. Each time you felt thirsty and chose patience, something inside you strengthened. Each time you felt hunger and still continued working, speaking kindly, praying, you were choosing obedience over impulse. Even without saying it aloud, your actions were declaring where your loyalty lies. By the time you reach the final minutes before iftar, you are in a different state than you were in the morning. Your body is weaker, but your awareness is sharper. Your ego is quieter than usual. Hunger humbles you. Thirst reminds you how dependent you truly are. And when a person genuinely feels that dependence, their dua shifts. It is no longer formal, it becomes honest, it becomes direct. Think about your own experience. When are your prayers most sincere? When you feel self-sufficient or when you know you need help? The last minutes of fasting strip away the illusion that you are in control. You are waiting, you are longing. Relief is close, but it has not yet arrived. That space between effort and relief carries a depth that is easy to miss. It is often where hearts soften. Yet many of us fill that space with noise. We scroll, we talk casually, we complain about hunger, we get distracted by small things, and then the adhan comes and the moment passes like any other. But what if instead of distraction you chose intention? What if instead of impatience you chose awareness? These 5 minutes are like a door that is slightly open, not dramatic, not loud, but accessible. And if you step toward it consciously, you will notice a difference. A calm that settles more deeply, a closeness that feels personal, a sincerity that does not need performance. Now, let me guide you through what to actually do in those 5 minutes. Nothing complicated, nothing lengthy, just something deliberate. Start with stillness. When there are about 5 minutes left before iftar, pause whatever you are doing. Put the phone down. Step away from the noise if you can. Sit where you are, even if it is just at the edge of the table. Take one slow breath in and one slow breath out. Let your body feel the hunger instead of resisting it. Let your throat feel the dryness. Instead of thinking, I cannot wait for this to end, gently shift your thought to, I did this for you. Remind yourself quietly that none of this went unnoticed. Every hour of restraint, every small struggle, every moment you held yourself back was seen. Then reflect on your day for just a minute. Think about the times you were patient. Think about the moments you slipped, spoke too quickly, or felt irritation rise in your chest. Acknowledge both without defensiveness. Say in your heart, Ya Allah, this was my effort today. It was imperfect, but it was for you. That awareness changes the posture of your heart. You are no longer just someone waiting for food. You are a servant standing in need of mercy. This first minute is not about asking yet. It is about alignment. It is about bringing your heart fully into the present. When you slow down intentionally, the rush inside you begins to settle. You stop counting seconds. You begin preparing your heart instead of preparing your plate. Now move into gratitude. Before you ask for anything, thank Allah. Thank Him for the strength to fast today. Thank Him for the food in front of you. Thank Him for the opportunity to witness another Ramadan. Even if your day was difficult, even if worries are still weighing on you, there is still something to thank Him for. Gratitude shifts your perspective. It steadies the heart and reminds you that mercy has already been present throughout the day. And now, with a calmer heart and a clearer mind, you are ready to speak. Not with memorized phrases alone, not with hurried words, but with sincerity. This is where your dua becomes personal. Now speak. Not loudly, not dramatically, just sincerely. This is the moment to say what you are truly carrying inside. You can begin simply, Ya Allah, I fasted for you, I tried for you. Accept this from me. Forgive where I fell short today. Clean what I could not clean on my own. Then go deeper. Mention what has been weighing on your heart. If you are anxious about your future, say it. If you are struggling in your marriage, say it. If you are worried about your health, your children, your finances, your faith, say it. Do not edit yourself. Do not try to sound impressive. You are not performing. You are speaking to the one who already knows. There is a difference between reciting words and asking from a place of need. In these last minutes, you are already aware of your limits. Let that awareness shape your dua. Say, Ya Allah, I cannot fix this on my own. Open what is closed for me. Remove what is harming me. Guide me where I am confused. Replace my fear with trust. Strengthen my heart. Keep me steady. These are not complicated sentences. They are honest ones. If there is something you have been praying for throughout Ramadan, bring it up again. Do not think you have asked too many times. Repetition does not burden Allah. It refines your sincerity. Ask with humility and hope. Trust that He hears you in this moment, in this exact state. If you want to add depth to your dua, include a short supplication from the Quran. Even something simple like, Our Lord, give us good in this world and good in the hereafter, and protect us from harm. When you use words taught by revelation, you connect your personal need to a tradition of faith that stretches far beyond you. Stay present for a few more seconds. Do not rush to check the clock. Let the final moments remain undisturbed. End your dua with trust. Say Ameen with certainty. Release what you have been holding. And when the call to prayer finally comes, break your fast with a heart that has already turned toward Allah before the relief arrived. When you finally take that first sip of water, do not let the moment disappear into noise. Feel it. Notice the coolness. Notice the relief. Remember that just seconds earlier you were standing in need, asking, hoping, trusting. That transition from hunger to satisfaction is not only physical, it carries meaning. It reminds you that relief follows patience and that difficulty is never permanent in the way it feels. But there is something important to remember. Many people make sincere dua before iftar and then the awareness fades as soon as they eat. The conversation pauses. Life moves quickly again. If you want to see the impact of these moments, try to carry a trace of them forward. After you break your fast, choose one small action that reflects what you asked for. If you asked for forgiveness, pray 2 units later that night with attention. If you asked for provision, give even a small amount in charity. If you asked for healing in a relationship, send a gentle message. If you asked for guidance, open the Quran for a few minutes. Dua invites change, but action gives it direction. Even one small step shows sincerity. And when we speak about change, do not imagine something dramatic. Sometimes the shift is quiet. It is a calm that lingers longer than usual. It is clarity where there was confusion. It is patience where there was frustration. It is a softened reaction where there used to be anger. These are not small things. They are signs of a heart being shaped gradually. When you repeat this 5-minute practice throughout Ramadan, you begin to build a habit. Your heart learns to turn to Allah before relief arrives, not only after it comes. Over time, that instinct becomes natural, and that is where real steadiness grows. Tonight, when there are 5 minutes left before iftar, do not let them pass unnoticed. Pause, breathe, reflect, thank, ask, trust. Then break your fast, knowing that you did more than abstain from food. You turn toward Allah with intention. And sometimes that simple turning is where lasting change begins. And perhaps the most beautiful part of this practice is that it is private. No one needs to know. No one needs to see you pause for a few seconds before iftar. No one needs to hear the words you whisper in your heart. This remains between you and Allah. And that privacy carries its own depth. When worship is unseen, it is often more sincere. When no one is watching, the heart speaks differently. Over the days of Ramadan, these 5 minutes can quietly become your anchor. There will be days when your energy is strong and your focus feels steady. There will also be days when you feel distracted, tired, or spiritually low. On those days especially, do not abandon this moment. Even if your heart feels heavy, even if your mind feels scattered, sit anyway, speak anyway, ask anyway. Sometimes the most honest dua rises from exhaustion, not strength. You may not notice immediate or dramatic changes, but pay attention. Notice if your reactions soften. Notice if your worries feel more manageable. Notice if clarity comes where there was confusion. Notice if your relationship with prayer feels more personal. These are subtle shifts and they matter. Ramadan is not only about counting the days you fasted. It is about who you are becoming during those days. These 5 minutes before iftar can train you to seek Allah before relief, to speak before satisfaction, to reflect before reward. And habits formed in sincerity rarely stay confined to 1 month. Imagine carrying this pause into the rest of your year. Imagine facing a difficult moment and instinctively turning to Allah before reacting. That is where real steadiness begins. So tonight, when you look at the clock and see that iftar is near, do not rush. Do not fill the silence with noise. Let those final minutes stretch. Let your hunger remind you of your need. Let your gratitude center your heart. Let your words be honest, and let your trust remain steady. These 5 minutes are not ordinary. They are an invitation. And if you accept that invitation with awareness and sincerity, you may find that what changes first is your posture before Allah. And when that posture changes, the way you experience everything else begins to shift as well. Let me leave you with this thought. The value of these 5 minutes is not measured by how emotional you feel or how perfectly you speak. It is measured by your presence. Even if your words are simple, even if all you manage to say is, Ya Allah, I need you, that is enough. Sincerity does not require eloquence. It requires honesty. Sometimes we assume that meaningful dua must be long or poetic, but often the most sincere prayers are the most direct. A servant admitting weakness, a heart admitting confusion, a believer admitting fear and choosing trust anyway. In those final minutes before iftar, you are already in a state of obedience. You have denied yourself something you love for hours. That sacrifice shapes your humility. It deepens the way you ask. Imagine meeting Allah every single day in that small window, not rushing, not distracted, just present. Over 30 days, that becomes 150 minutes of focused conversation. Nearly 2.5 hours of deliberate connection woven into your Ramadan. Small, consistent moments like that do not feel dramatic, but they leave a mark on the heart. And when Ramadan ends, you may not only remember the hunger, you may remember the stillness, the calm before the adhan, the feeling of asking without pretense, the quiet trust that followed. Those memories can stay with you long after the last fast. So, tonight, when there are 5 minutes left, treat them with care, sit still, thank Allah, speak honestly, add a short supplication from the Quran if you can, seal it with trust. Then break your fast with gratitude and continue your evening with intention. Do not let these minutes pass unnoticed. Start today. Start with this iftar. Turn those final 5 minutes into a meeting, not a countdown. And watch how a small, consistent act of presence can gradually change the way your heart responds to everything else. And if you ever feel like nothing is changing, remember this: real growth is rarely loud, it is quiet. It begins in the unseen parts of you, the part that learns patience, the part that practices gratitude, the part that turns to Allah before turning anywhere else. These shifts may not be obvious at first, but they shape you in ways that unfold over time. There may be nights when you make dua in those 5 minutes and your situation looks exactly the same the next day. The difficulty may still be present. The unanswered question may still feel heavy. Do not assume your words were unheard. Sometimes relief does not come by removing the storm. Sometimes it comes by strengthening you within it. Sometimes it comes as clarity. Sometimes as protection from something you never knew was near. In those final moments before iftar, you are standing between effort and relief. You did your part throughout the day. You restrained yourself. You tried. You struggled. Now you entrust the rest to Allah. That surrender steadies the heart. It reminds you that while outcomes are not yours to control, connection always is. And that is what these 5 minutes begin to cultivate. A reflex of turning back to Allah. A habit of pausing before reacting. Over time, that rhythm can extend beyond Ramadan. When something hurts, you pause and speak. When something confuses you, you pause and ask. When something blesses you, you pause and thank. That pattern is built here, in these quiet minutes before iftar. So, do not underestimate small, consistent acts of sincerity. They are like seeds, and seeds do not look impressive when they are planted. They are hidden, covered, unnoticed. But with time and care, they grow in ways that reshape the ground around them. Tonight, when you see those 5 minutes approaching, welcome them. You are stepping into a space made meaningful by your awareness. Enter it intentionally. Speak honestly. Trust calmly. Break your fast with gratitude. And allow this simple daily practice to become a steady part of your Ramadan, one that continues to guide you long after the month has passed. And as you move through the rest of Ramadan, begin to notice something subtle. The hunger becomes familiar, the waiting becomes meaningful, and those 5 minutes begin to feel different. They no longer feel like a countdown. They start to feel like an appointment, one you do not want to miss. A quiet space where your heart can finally exhale. There is something deeply human about waiting for relief. All day you wait for that moment, and right before it arrives, you find yourself suspended in between. That suspension reflects life itself. We are always waiting for something, clarity, ease, answers. The way you handle those 5 minutes before iftar gently shapes the way you handle waiting in the rest of your life. If you rush, complain, or distract yourself, you reinforce impatience. But if you pause, breathe, and speak to Allah, you reinforce trust. You teach your heart that waiting is not wasted time. It can become meaningful time. And that quiet adjustment begins to affect more than just those 5 minutes. Ramadan is not only about hunger, it is about refining the heart. These 5 minutes offer a daily opportunity to redirect your reflexes. Instead of reaching for distraction when discomfort appears, you reach for dua. Instead of reacting immediately, you pause and reflect. Instead of assuming you are alone in your struggle, you remind yourself that you are heard. And over time, something genuine